It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
So this guy writes a blog that says, to the guy who stopped me last night in the Ross parking lot. So he was in the parking lot of Ross. The guy stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy who had the screaming 3-year-old over my shoulder.
Okay.
I was not kidnapping her.
Oh. Okay.
That happens all the time. You're dragging a kid out of a store and they're screaming.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the last thing you want is somebody to intervene and say, are you stealing this kid or is this your kid?
Right. Especially if a kid is like crying bloody murder because you didn't buy the child a toy. Or it's weird. Like my friend has a kid that just always wants to be in the Halloween costume, doesn't care what month it is, what year it is, doesn't care any of that sort of thing. Always wants to be in a Halloween costume. She tried to explain to him, first day of school, you cannot wear a Halloween costume, screaming bloody murder to the point where people were like, are you killing your child? Should we call the police or the authorities? What is going on in the back of that car?
Mm-hmm. So he says, I refused to buy her 4 shower loofahs. He says, I'm a jerk. I know. So she wanted 4 shower loofahs and he wouldn't buy them. And she started screaming. As I walked carrying this screaming ball of anger to my car, which happened to be on the other side of the parking lot, you actually had the nerve to stand in front of me and ask me if that was my daughter, if she was okay. To which she prompted, no, I'm not okay. My patience was wearing thin. I unlocked my phone and showed you a family photo wallpaper and continued to my car. You did not know me or my child, yet you were prepared to put yourself in danger to keep my daughter safe. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Not screw you. Not how dare you judge me as a parent. Not how dare you, tried to intervene in a family situation that was perfectly normal that a lot of kids and parents go through. I love the fact that it's a twist that the father was saying, thank you for offering to intervene on a situation that really could potentially have been a bad one.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have said this at all. I wouldn't have been this nice. Leave me alone, dude. She wanted 4 shower loofahs. Go back in there and you buy her. My oldest, I remember when he was young, he broke down like that in Target because he wanted Band-Aids. And I wouldn't buy him Band-Aids. I'm like, no, we have 4 boxes of Band-Aids at home. If you ever get a cut on your finger, we're there.
We're good. Yeah. You're covered.
But no, stupid people had to put SpongeBob on Band-Aids.
Oh, right.
So,
and that's why they did it, so that kids would cry and scream and demand that you buy them Band-Aids that are just like the Band-Aids you have at home, except these have SpongeBob on them.
Yeah, but they don't know that the kid is going to be kicking, screaming at the top of their lungs because you won't buy them SpongeBob Band-Aids because you have 700 Band-Aids at home. The last thing you need is more Band-Aids.
So did somebody stop you and say, like, what kind of parent are you? Or how come what are you abusing this child? Like, how come you're not buying them whatever they want?
I think you get looks, and it happens now. When you go out to a store, kid is screaming. My thing is I just turn and walk away quickly because that's the last thing I want to hear is a kid screaming now at this point in my life. I've been there, done that. I don't want to hear it anymore.
My mother does the most embarrassing thing. I never want to be around her when there's a child screaming because here's what she does. So we were in Home Goods and just, doing our thing, shopping for probably throw pillows because we can't have enough of those. And there was a little girl in a stroller who was just screaming at the top of her lungs. And the grandma wasn't really doing very much, just kind of like rocking the stroller and pushing her around, not even like, shh, not even taking her out, just letting her scream.
Mm-hmm.
My mother walks over. My mother goes, maybe she's going to become an opera singer one day. That's her thing now. When she hears kids like just screaming at the top of her lungs, she goes, you shouldn't stop them. Maybe they want to be an opera singer one day, and this is their creativity. That's what she says to people, to strangers.
Karen, turn around.
I know, Karen, turn around.
Go away.
Mind your own business. No one's an opera singer here. Nobody's asking your opinion.
Nobody wants you to talk to them. Go away. I
Right.
don't. But yeah, if I was carrying my kid and somebody stopped me and said, "You're stealing that kid," I would put the kid down and we would have to fight. We just would.
You would open the car door, put the kid in the back seat, close the door, and then go, okay, now it's your turn.
Yeah. And now you're going to start crying.
And let's see who comes to your rescue.
Right. And no, I'm not going to kidnap you. I'm going to beat you with this bat. So leave me alone. It's not your place.
But here's the thing I don't understand about parents and parenting, especially really young kids. I hear friends all the time say, oh, this is my first kid. I don't really know what to do. I get advice from my mom. I get advice from my sister. I'm not really sure what to do. But yet, when a stranger wants to give you maybe legitimate advice, shut up. Who asked you?
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe that woman has 10 kids and you want to hear her advice. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't get the not wanting to hear advice and asking for advice at the same time. Which is it?
Yeah, but there are people like you that give advice on raising a kid and you have no clue. If I want advice,
I don't give advice on raising kids.
You have we've done this show for 25 years. You have. You've given your opinion on how to raise kids. I don't question you on how to make dog food. You're brilliant at that. I don't question you on how to walk a dog.
No, I give my opinion as a human being on this earth.
But
I don't come across and no, I don't come across and say like, well, if I was a mom or as a mom, I just say this is what I would do just because that's what I think I would do if I was in that situation. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just giving, what I would do. That's different than actually telling somebody how to parent. I have never, ever walked up to somebody who actually has a physical child and said, hi, honey, let me help you out there. I would never even have
because you're not a douche. But
right.
If I want to know what kind of shoes go with a Vera Wang dress for weddings, I ask you. If I want parenting advice, you're not the person to ask.
Okay, but I'm not saying that people ask me for parenting advice because they don't. Why would they?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I have seen friends of mine say, I don't know what to do. They won't sleep. Who do I talk to? And they call their mom and they call their sister and they call their grandma and who can help me and what advice do you have? But if a stranger gives them advice, they're like, shut the hell up. So I guess my question is either you want advice or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is it? Do you want help? Nobody expects you to be able to be a super parent. If it's your first kid, how you know what to do? You can buy all the books in the world, but your kid is your kid and kids are unique. And, that page in the book about your kid doesn't exist.
Yeah, Dr. Spock doesn't know kids and Band-Aids and SpongeBob. But I will ask my parents or my friends, and I've even asked you on occasion.
You have.
Because you have a PhD, so that's why I ask you. But I'm not going to ask a stranger or want a response from a stranger on how to raise my kids.
But what if they're giving you legit advice? Like, what if you're in a diner and you're a new parent and the kid is doing something wacky?
No, don't talk to me.
Okay.
Never, ever, ever talk to me if you don't know me. Stop it.
All right.
Look that way. Don't even look at me. Pay me no attention.
But like my boyfriend's mother raised 6 children.
Mm-hmm.
She knows a lot about kids. She knows a lot about parenting, and she has been in a situation where she's watching a brand new parent with their one kid doing something wrong. Like, and we've said to her, go tell them. No, it's none of my business. I'm like, You're the expert. You've successfully raised 6 children. That woman is about to kill that baby. Go help.
No, you're supposed to turn the baby over when you smack it. No, I don't, let them learn the hard way. Let them learn.
Right.
It's not my place. So what would you have done at Target? Would you have bought the SpongeBob Band-Aids or would you carried the screaming kid out of the store?
I do a cost benefit analysis and I think, okay, the screaming kid is really annoying right now. The Band-Aids are $4. So I don't know. Like, I would, in that moment, have bought the kid the Band-Aids just to shut them up. But then I would say to them, since I bought you the Band-Aids, you can't ask for anything else for 1 month. Because otherwise, the kid thinks that all they have to do is throw a tantrum and you'll buy them anything they want. And then what you're doing is you're teaching them to tantrum. Mm-hmm. So you're better off in the moment, shutting them up, buying them what they want, and saying, this is going to cost you this $4. You have 1 month of not asking me. Yeah. And what's great is kids don't know time. So like 3 months later, you could be like, the month isn't up yet.
Yeah. See, this is why you don't ask Cooper for parenting advice. Because
why? I think that was really good advice.
No, that's horrible advice, because you can tell that kid, okay, you're not going to get nothing for another month. And then when you're in the exit lane to pay for said Band-Aids, they'll see something else and they'll scream for an hour because they want that too. So they'll forget. They don't know, like you said, they don't know time. So a month to them is 35 seconds.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I look back when I was at Kmart one time when I was a kid, I wanted a guy that you throw out the window and his parachute comes up, a little plastic guy.
Yeah.
And my mom wouldn't buy it for me. So I remember I caused the scene at Kmart. And if I turn my head like this, a certain way, I can still feel how hard I got hit. So,
oh no!
So I never did that ever again.
I thought you were going to say you stole it, and that so begun your life of crime.
No, she hit me so hard I can still feel it right there, and it wasn't worth it. So I never asked for anything again. That's how my mom parents. So if you want to ask her parenting advice, that's what she's going to say: smack them. I'm going to hit you, and you're going to wake up on Wednesday. That's what she would say.
You're right. Your mom trained you to know that if you ask for something, there's going to be consequences immediately. I did the opposite. As an only child, I trained my mom as to what is okay and not okay. So if there's something I wanted and she said no, I was like, bitch, I'm taking it anyway. I can't tell you how often she had to, we'd be in the car and I would have what I wanted. She'd be like, did you steal that? I did, bitch. You had a choice to buy it for me or that you know the consequences.
Yeah, you're going down.
I can't tell you how often she'd have to walk me back into a store and have me say, here's the piece of candy I stole or here's the doll I stole. No. All the time. And it's like, when is she going to learn? She's going to have to humiliate herself, take up her time, because she's left the store. Now she has to go back into the store. Maybe we've started to drive away. She's got to find another parking spot. So after a while, she learned and she was like, what do you want? Great. I'll buy it for you.
Yeah. And you didn't learn because you probably kept doing it.
No. Once I got what I wanted, once I trained her, once she was well trained.
You know, as a kid, not to ask for really expensive things. You ask for just little things that parents will buy.
Right. David Seeley says, wait, this is funny. He said, I would have bought them the Band-Aids and then said, now we're going to give you a reason to need them.
He was crazy about Band-Aids. Oh my God. He would have 75 Band-Aids on at one time. My finger hurts. I need a band. No, it does not. I need a band. Oh my God. Put a Band-Aid on. I can't no more.
And now, is this Brendan?
Brandon. Yeah.
Brandon, and now he's in the medical field. Now he works in the medical field.
See, I guess it paid off.
I know. Brandon always wanted to be in the medical field. That was look, I got to say, it's almost like he was telling you early on that this was the career path he has chosen. Even at 4 years old, he was like, something about these Band-Aids. I seem to relate to them.
No.
And now there he is working at a hospital.
Yeah, I should have known. He wanted to be a dirt eater. From way when he was young. I think he's going to grow up and eat dirt. No, kids aren't like that.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
So we got a very interesting thread going today with some of our listeners, and I wanted to run it by you because the question that we asked on our thread today on the Cooper and Anthony pages, and if you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, please do. It's Cooper and Anthony Show. You can just Google that and it'll come right up. You can follow me at the Cooper Lawrence on Instagram. So the question that we asked is, what is something that you do that you shouldn't? Like, what's your dirty little secret? So we got some good ones, and I want to run some by you because I didn't respond to any of them because I wanted to know if you thought that this is problematic and we should probably call some of these people's mothers, or if these things are perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay. So one of our listeners, Jeffrey, said, every day I throw a raisin across my office at the head of a woman I barely know. She has no idea who's doing it, but her confusion brings me a little bit of joy every day.
Perfectly fine. Perfect. Yeah, I throw things at people at work all day long. That is fine to me.
Just one raisin. That's all he throws.
It gets him through the day.
Okay.
I love that he goes and buys a box of raisins just so he can throw a raisin a day at a woman. I wonder if she ever finds out. If she turns around and gets hit by a raisin, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And she's dumb. All she has to do is wait till everyone's at lunch and then just open drawers and see who's got the box of raisins. You've solved the mystery. Okay, here's another one. This is Alexandra. She said, even though I have a good paying job, I like to steal beer glasses from bars. Beer just tastes better in pint glasses, and they taste even better in stolen pint glasses.
I can't say anything. So
Why?
Because I steal forks. I have been known to steal a fork from a restaurant if it's a really good fork. If it's a really thick, really expensive fork, I'll act like it fell on the ground and then put it in my pocket. So I can't say anything.
How could you do that? Then none of your forks at home match.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to have matching forks. I'm not fancy. What am I, fancy? What am I, a Rockefeller over here? Is my last name Bush? No. Not a Kennedy. I'm Anthony, not a Kennedy. So none of my forks match.
That would drive me crazy if I opened up my fork drawer and none of my forks matched. Oh my, I don't even know what I would do. Everything has to match in my silverware drawer. Everything.
No, we have 75 different forks, and half of my forks are plastic. So
or stolen. Jonathan, he said, after my mom died, I helped my dad sort out her things. I found a box of love letters that revealed she'd been having a lengthy affair with one of my dad's friends. Yes. I put them in the recycling, and he will never find out. The grief nearly killed him when she died. I did not want to make it worse.
I mean, that's going to eat you alive to know that and not tell your dad. But nothing, you have to outweigh it. Nothing good can come of it by telling him.
Right. He can't confront her.
Right. So,
no. Yeah.
I think it'll be hard to look at your dad in the eyes at Christmas because you know a secret, but you can't tell him.
Yeah. I'm against telling somebody about an affair after somebody's died or once the affair is over, because all you're doing is assuaging your own guilt. You're not really doing anything other than that because you are going to hurt the person you're telling that information to. So if the affair's over and it's done, if you kissed an ex, if you did something you shouldn't have done, I'd say keep that to yourself. If you want to stay in your marriage and stay in your relationship, I don't see any reason to hurt somebody else because you're feeling guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's the good thing when people die that people only seem to remember the good times.
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny was such a saint. Such a saint. He did nothing wrong. Oh, wait, you hated Johnny when he was alive. No, Johnny was perfect. He's a saint. Go light a candle for him. So just keep that as she was a saint. She was a perfect woman. Just remember the good times.
Okay, we got two more of these. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, this is our all of our social media pages. We had people put up their guilty confessions and things that their significant other or family do not know and asking like, is this okay that this is like my big secret? My wife thinks I'm a sober vegan and she loves that about me. What she doesn't know is that when she goes to her sister's house for an evening, I track her phone so I can slam a meat lover's pizza and about 8 IPAs. Then when I, on the phone, see her leave her sister's, I bag all the evidence and I throw it in the neighbor's trash.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think that's, you have to get it out of your system. If I was a vegan, every now and then, I might drive through McDonald's. I don't know.
Right.
And I just wouldn't tell you. I would throw the food away at the gas station before I get home.
Right. I'd smell it on you and I can see your belly. But aside from that, I don't, I think that's a bigger betrayal than an affair.
You think?
Because yes, I'll tell you why. Because affairs tend not to last long. You're doing it for a reason. You're resentful, you're angry, you get out of your system and then it's over. I think if you are with somebody who wants you to be a vegan, sober is a different story. I think if you're sober because you are an alcoholic and now you're drinking, that's really problematic. But if you're only sober because your significant other doesn't want you to drink, which is what this story seems like, it doesn't seem like anybody's an alcoholic here. It seems like, we're healthy. We don't drink. We don't do that. We don't drink. We don't eat meat. We don't have dairy. That's us. That's we, in the price of doing business in your relationship is to be vegan and to not drink. So if most of your day is spent and you're perfectly fine, in order to be with this beautiful, amazing woman, you have to not eat meat, not drink alcohol, and you're fine doing that, except the once in a while when she goes to her sister's, I think that's okay. As opposed to living a lie. I don't think you should live somebody else's truth. If your significant other wants to be a vegan, listen, I've been a vegetarian my whole life. I have never dated another vegetarian. Never. I've tried. I just can't find a guy that doesn't want to eat meat.
Right.
But I have never, ever said to a guy, if you eat meat, I'm not having sex with you or this relationship's over. That's their business. Do you know what I mean? I made my choices. They can make theirs. I'm not going to judge them just the way they're not judging me. Because somebody else may be like, I don't want to be with one of those freaky vegetarians. It's not a religion. It's what I'm into. You do you.
Yeah, but you're not a vegetarian. You're super vegetarian, and you only eat like 4 things. And even fruit gives you food poisoning. So there's nothing you can eat.
Yeah, I've limited even the fruit I eat. No, but that's my business. That's my thing. I'm not going to impose that on somebody else. I'm not going to force somebody to not eat meat it's up to them. I mean, what I find is when someone's around me a lot, because I don't eat meat, we tend not to go to a lot of, steakhouses. And I don't cook meat at home. So I find that the men I date tend to eat less meat when they're with me, but I'm not stopping. They can bring home a hamburger if they want. That's their business.
So we could still go to Ruth Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have those big baked potatoes that I love. This one's kind of interesting. This is what Cynthia says. She says, I was relieved to take my husband's name and to change cities when we got married. It meant I was no longer contactable by my previous life associates and my criminal activities.
Nice.
My husband has no idea who he really married, and I will never tell him because I've completely changed.
Nice.
That's interesting. So do you think that she should at some point tell her husband about her past? Or do you think that she's like, nope, that's it. That's my past. That's the old me. It's not who I am. He needs to know this Cynthia, not Cindy.
No, I think you have to tell him at some point about Cindy, just so it's in the past. And I don't think as a couple you should keep something like that from each other. If you're a criminal and you did bad things, I think you should break down and tell them.
I don't know. I think it only becomes a problem when worlds collide. I've had that. So in college, like most people, I drank, I partied, I was a mess in college just because I, got away from my parents and I can do whatever I want. Woo, rage. And I was one of those kids that just raged. Not a sorority sister. I was not one of those. I was a different type of rager. And then when I graduated, clean, sober, vegan, I'm vegetarian now, but I was vegan, didn't touch any alcohol, no marijuana, no cigarettes, nothing, clean. I became a personal trainer. I worked out 6 days a week. I was in great shape. I was with my boss. So when you're a personal trainer, there's like the main trainer and then like all the little trainers underneath her. So I was one of the little trainers underneath her. And my boss and I were walking through the West Village. We had just finished our shift. We were going to get like, I don't know, probably like a smoothie or a wheat juice or something, equally as obnoxious.
Right.
And we bumped into this girl that I knew in college and after that I used to party with. I mean, party with a capital P. And she's like, "Oh my God, Cooper, I can't believe I run into you. I heard you live in this neighborhood. I was wondering if you knew where I can get like a drug hookup." And my boss was like, "How would Cooper know? How on earth would Cooper know where you can get a drug hookup?" And I was just like, yeah, no, nice seeing you. I wouldn't know. Yeah, she's right. How would I know? Nice seeing you though. And I walked away and I was like, phew, dodged a bullet there. But I love the fact that my old friend who ran into me was going to contact me anyway, because she was like, so where do you buy weed these days?
Weed, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was your boss. It's a different thing if it's your boyfriend and he doesn't know that part about you. I would think that's kind of weird.
Well, I guess the only way it comes into play is if, like in medical situations, to make medical decisions for you. They ask questions like, has this person ever done X, Y, or Z? Done cocaine or done heroin or whatever it is that she was. I don't know what kind of criminal she was. She doesn't say in her little message there. But, if it's something that's going to affect her health and affect what kind of treatment she gets, I think that's the kind of thing your husband should know, because he's going to be making medical decisions for you if you can't.
Yeah, I think you have to let him know your past, because that's your past. It's not your future. It's not your present. So I changed. I'm here for you, but this is what I was like. I used to eat people. This is what I used to do. I used to be a cannibal. Just let you know, got that out of my system. Not interested in eating people anymore, but just wanted to let you know.
Right. That's the kind of thing that would hopefully send the guy screaming, though.
But if you run into your buddy that you hung out with in high school and your boyfriend's there and he's like, "Let's go eat people again," the guy's gonna be like, "You ate people?" So you don't want to have that conversation.
Cindy, that's your advice from Anthony.
If you ate people, tell him. If you just stole a candy bar, he doesn't need to know.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Your boyfriend, I know, is the biggest Coke Zero fan on the planet.
Yes. In fact, he's been very upset that Coke Zero changed their formula. He went through like a denial where he was like, "I'm just going to buy up all the old formula and I'll have plenty here and I'll be fine." And then once our store stopped selling it and now it's the red label, not the black label, he's like, "I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that that's just my reality now."
Yeah, I was actually worried for Joe when I heard the news that they were changing it, because he didn't live with us at our apartment, but there was Coke Zero in our refrigerator just in case he stopped by.
Right. In case he came for a weekend or a night, or in case he stopped by ever. I needed to make sure there was always soda there for him.
Yeah.
But if you look at it like this, that poor guy has so little joy in his life.
And they took it away from him.
But that's what I'm saying. He's going to deal with me on a regular basis. I don't drink. I don't eat meat. So he doesn't get to drink or eat meat because he's not going to do that alone in the house, like some weirdo. So I've really like wrung him dry of all the joy that he has ever experienced. All he had was the Coke Zero black label. That's all he had. That was all he asked for. Mm-hmm. And now they've taken that away from him.
So has he tried the new Coke Zero?
Of course. He doesn't have a choice. That's all. It's that or nothing.
Does he like it?
No.
He doesn't.
I love it.
I love it. I buy it by the pallet at
Really?
Yeah, at they sell it by the pallet at Costco. You can buy a huge thing of it for like $4. It's awesome. Yeah, I keep drinking it going, this is the most amazing Coke there is. So I wonder how Joe likes it.
Did they give an explanation why they changed the formula? Because it doesn't make any sense. It's one thing when they went from, like, I remember when they add like something brand new, like a new flavor, like, cherry Coke Zero. They're adding cherry. There's a reason. But so why would they go from Coke Zero to Coke Black Label to Red Label? What's changed? What's different? I'm suspicious.
I think there was like rat poison in the last one, and they stopped putting the rat poison in it because it was bad and they got a conscience. So
that's not true, is it?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think there was something bad in the Coke back then. They had meetings and said, we have to change this.
No, that was when they went from Diet Coke to Coke Zero.
But they still make Diet Coke. And it's got whatever crap in it that gives you cancer. So I think there was crap in that Black Label that they didn't want you to know about.
No, they still aspartame and ACESULFAME. ACES ulfame. Potassium is still in it. Those two things are still in it. The sweetening
so it had
combination.
To be something else. It had to be something else that you can't figure out. There's an ingredient that is missing out of this one that was in the last one. I guarantee it. Or why would they change it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So why did they change it? They're not really saying. The only thing they're saying is they wanted to optimize the existing flavor. They wanted to taste more like Coca-Cola. That's what the company line is. We wanted to taste more like Coca-Cola. And it's like, we liked Coke Zero. We didn't want it to, whatever Coke Zero is, we want that flavor.
Right. Come out with something else. Come out with Coke that tastes more like Coke, but doesn't have calories. Call it that. You don't have to call it Coke Zero and stop making the other one. I think the other one had bad stuff in it. You know what it was? They put COVID in the Black Label.
No, that's not what it is.
They put COVID in it, and that's where you got the COVID or Zika or something was in the Coke, and then they said we have to change. We have to have a COVID-free Coke.
Right. There is something they have changed because they said that the new Coke Zero, the tweak that they did, is supposed to appeal to a health trend. So obviously something in there is a little healthier than it was a week ago. They've done something different. I'm not quite sure what it is. But, it's interesting about this because, I was just talking to a friend of mine about Beyond Burger and all of those like meat substitutes, Impossible Burger, all that kind of stuff. As somebody who I never really ate meat, I think I remember as a very, very little kid being given chicken or hamburger, maybe. But I stopped eating meat when I was 8 years old. So I have a lot of years of not really remembering what meat tastes like. I was never looking for a hamburger substitute. And I think that's the whole idea of Impossible Burger. It's like you want a hamburger, but you don't want to eat the meat. You want to be healthy. So you get Impossible Burger instead. It's supposed to taste like meat. So I just read this study. I thought this was really interesting. So people were asking, well, now that Impossible Burger exists, are people eating less meat? Is it having an impact on the meat industry? And the answer is no, it isn't. People are not eating meat. They're just also eating Impossible Burgers. So, yeah. So, for example, if you're somebody who's already vegetarian and you miss the taste of meat, you're going to eat an Impossible Burger because that's your moment where you're going to have, your cheat day and it'll feel like you're eating meat when you really aren't. But people that are meat eaters that are trying to be healthier, they'll have hamburgers 4 days a week instead of 5. And then the one day they'll have an Impossible Burger. They're not stopping eating meat completely. They're just switching out like a day.
Yeah, I don't think hardcore meat eaters like somebody that we used to know that used to be on the show.
Yes.
There's no way that person is going to eat an Impossible Burger. It's not going to happen. He ain't going to eat it.
Well, that's because that person had some psychological problems when it came to food. It was more than just that they ate meat. They only ate 5 things and they had to eat them a certain way, on a separate plate, ketchup separate, French fries separate. They only ate like 3 or 4 things.
But his wife is super healthy. So I'm surprised that she isn't sneaking him Impossible meat, but his head would pop off if he ate it. So there are hardcore meat eaters that won't touch that crap. And
for the hardcore meat eaters, this isn't for them. That's the whole point. That's what the study said about Impossible Burger. It's not for the hardcore meat eaters. It's for the people who are trying to eat healthier, the people who are trying to go vegetarian. What they're saying is they're not completely replacing the meat, with Impossible Burger meat or Beyond Burger meat. They're just also having Beyond Burger. So like you go to a barbecue and you have 2 burgers, one's an Impossible, one's a regular.
Right. And I was happy when Beyond came out because Beyond was the first one, and I didn't eat meat for like 10 years. So I was like, I can finally eat meat, and it's made out of a lettuce. I don't know what it's made out of. So I ate it and went, not bad. And then you eat the Impossible Burger, and you go, damn, this is really good.
Huh.
But I look at the list of crap that's in that, and that can't be good for you. It just can't.
No, it's not. There's nothing synthetic in it. It's all like soy and soy protein and wheat and whey. It's all the same stuff that's in a veggie burger, except it's a little more robust.
Mm-hmm. No, but Beyond, it's got a certain taste to it. Impossible tastes much better than Beyond. Okay. But it's like Coke Zero and Coke. You know, it's just a little bit different. But it was kind of a gateway to bring me back to meat.
Right. And that's what this study found, that also people that hadn't eaten meat for a long time were like, oh, this Impossible Burger is pretty good. Maybe I should have a regular burger.
Mm-hmm. I forgot how good hamburgers are. I'll eat this and go, shit,
right.
I really miss a Big Mac. That's what I should have.